The moment Sarah Chen watched her daughter take her first steps, she knew those tiny feet would dance their way into something extraordinary. What she never imagined was that 12 years later, those same feet would be bare, pressed against the cold marble floor of Meridian Industries' executive lobby at 3 a.m., as 8-year-old Lily practiced pirouettes while her mother emptied trash cans 40 floors above. Marcus Thornfield built his empire on a simple philosophy that hung in gold letters behind his mahogany desk: if you can fix it, you can keep it. It was more than a motto, it was his religion. Broken companies, failing products, shattered dreams, if they couldn't be repaired and made profitable, they were discarded without sentiment. At 45, he had accumulated 3 ex-wives, 0 children, and a fortune that most small countries would envy. What he lacked was the ability to see that some things, once broken, weren't meant to be fixed, they were meant to be loved. The night everything changed started like any other. Sarah pushed her cleaning cart through the gleaming corridors of the 50-story tower, her daughter's small hand gripping the handle beside her. School was out for winter break, and babysitting was an expense Sarah's janitor salary couldn't stretch to cover. At 26, she had perfected the art of making herself invisibly, arriving after business hours, finishing before dawn, ensuring that the executives who ruled this glass kingdom never had to acknowledge the woman who made their world spotless. But Lily had inherited more than her mother's determined chin and coffee-colored eyes. She had inherited her grandmother's gift for movement, a language older than words that spoke through the arch of her back and the extension of her arms. While Sarah methodically cleaned each office, Lily would practice the ballet positions she'd learned from YouTube videos, transforming the sterile corporate spaces into her personal studio. "Mama, watch," Lily whispered, launching into a series of turns that would have impressed the teachers at the dance academy Sarah could never afford. Her reflection multiplied in the wall of windows overlooking the city, creating an army of dancing girls against the backdrop of sleeping skyscrapers. 3 floors down, Marcus was pulling another all-nighter, dissecting quarterly reports that painted a grim picture of the company's latest acquisition, a chain of community centers that served low-income neighborhoods. The numbers didn't lie. Maintenance costs exceeded revenue by 30%. The decision was obvious: close them down, sell the properties to developers, and cut the losses. It was exactly the kind of clear-cut business problem that had made him successful. The faint sound of music drifted through the building's ventilation system, something classical and haunting that seemed impossibly out of place in this temple of commerce. Marcus frowned, loosening his Italian silk tie. Night security should have cleared the building hours ago. He found them on the 37th floor. A woman in a faded blue uniform quietly dusting picture frames while a child moved like liquid poetry across the marble floor. Marcus had witnessed hostile takeovers, boardroom coups, and million-dollar negotiations that could make grown men weep. But he had never seen anything as raw and beautiful as this 8-year-old girl dancing Swan Lake in the middle of his corporate headquarters at 3 a.m. "Excuse me," he said, his voice carrying the authority that had silenced countless board meetings. Sarah spun around, her face draining of color as she recognized the man whose portrait hung in every elevator. "Mr. Thornfield, I'm so sorry." "Lily, stop dancing right now." She grabbed her daughter's arm, but Lily continued moving, lost in the music flowing from her phone's tiny speaker. "I can explain," Sarah began, words tumbling over themselves. "My babysitter got sick, and I couldn't afford her. I mean, she's not bothering anyone. She's just How long has she been dancing?" Marcus interrupted, his eyes never leaving the child who had now transitioned into what he recognized as a piece from the Nutcracker. "Since she could walk," Sarah admitted, her voice barely audible. "She's self-taught. We can't afford lessons, but she watches videos and practices whenever she can. Marcus watched Lily execute a perfect grand jet A tilde copyright, her thin frame seeming to defy gravity. And you bring her here every night? Only during school breaks. I don't have anywhere else. See, Sarah's voice cracked. Please don't fire me. This job is all we have. For the first time in decades, Marcus Thornfield found himself speechless. His entire philosophy centered around fixing things, but what he saw before him wasn't broken, it was workingly, perfectly whole. This child, dancing in a space designed for profit margins and market analysis, had somehow made his cold building feel alive. "What's your favorite ballet?" he asked Lily directly. The girl stopped mid-spin, her dark eyes wide with surprise that the important man was talking to her. "Giselle," she whispered. "It's about forgiveness and love being stronger than death." Something in Marcus's chest tightened, a sensation he hadn't felt since childhood, before his father had taught him that sentiment was weakness and love was a luxury successful men couldn't afford. That night, Marcus didn't go home to his empty penthouse. Instead, he sat in his office and made phone calls. By morning, he had spoken with the directors of 3 prestigious dance academies, 2 scholarship foundations, and his lawyers. By the end of the week, he had done something that would have horrified his younger self. He had used company resources not to fix something broken, but to nurture something beautiful. The community centers he had planned to close became Lily's first stage. Marcus funded their renovation, transforming them into arts education centers that served hundreds of children like Lilia, kids whose talents burned bright despite their circumstances. He established the Sarah Chen Scholarship Fund, named for a woman who had worked multiple jobs to keep her daughter's dreams alive while never abandoning her own dignity. 6 months later, Marcus sat in the front row of Lincoln Center, watching Lily perform a solo piece choreographed specifically for her by one of the world's most celebrated ballet masters. Sarah sat beside him, no longer invisible but radiant in a dress she had finally been able to afford. Around them sat dozens of other scholarship recipients, children who had been given the chance to turn their gifts into careers. As Lily took her final bow, the audience rising in thunderous applause, Marcus felt tears on his cheeks. For 45 years, he had believed that everything valuable could be quantified, optimized, and improved. But watching this child dance here, this child who had been perfect exactly as she was, he realized his motto needed an addendum. If you can fix it, you can keep it. But if it's not broken, if it's beautiful and pure and full of potential, then your job isn't to fix it. Your job is to protect it, nurture it, and give it space to soar. Later that evening, as Sarah tucked Lily into bed in their new apartment, another gift that Marcus had disguised as a company relocation bonus, she found a note slipped under their door. In Marcus's precise handwriting, it read, "Some things don't need fixing. They need believing in. Thank you for teaching an old businessman how to see magic in the margins of a balance sheet." Marcus never changed the gold letters behind his desk, but he added new ones on the wall across from them. "If it's beautiful, help it fly." The janitor's daughter had started to dance, and in doing so, she had taught a powerful man that the most valuable things in life couldn't be quantified on any spreadsheet, they could only be felt in the depths of a heart finally learning how to love.